All right, well, thank you. It's great to be back. This is one of my favorite shows, a great audience. I love to see that there's so many of you here today. So let's get my panel up. I'm going to introduce them. They're out here. They're all mic'd up. They're ready to go. So here we go. Gloria Bohan, President and CEO of Omega World Travel. And you know, she's also an inductee in the Business Travel Hall of Fame. Next up, Lee Curtis, the CEO of 360. Lee, where are you? Come on up the stage. No, you know what? Yeah, you can go to the end. We got alpha order. Next up is Matt Gilkison. Matt Gilkison is the Executive Director of Capability Management and Innovation at TSA. Welcome, Matt. And then finally, Ashley Jacober. She's the Head of Government Partnerships for Uber for Business. Ashley, come on up. All right. There's smart guys. I've got about 5 topics. I got some true and false in there. The session is basically this. I'm going to set the stage with either a comment or a little piece of an article or some statistics to frame the topic. Topic number 1. I'm going to jump down in the audience because I like being with the people. All right. Number 1. The World Travel and Tourism Council, representing the global private travel and tourism sector, revealed an analysis of staff shortages, showing the U.S. labor shortfall of almost 700,000 workers in 21. As for 22, they project up to 1 in 13 jobs will remain unfilled. The continued labor shortage in travel and tourism sector negatively impacts every aspect of the travel, including airline, lodging, restaurants, ground transportation.
I'll start.
Go ahead, Gloria.
Okay, so yes, it has impacted the business, and I've seen some positives out of it. We also, I think, know what we need much better than we ever did before. I also realized how important it is to keep our core together during this trying time with COVID and up until today, because we are, as Mr. Constable said, we're still in a kind of a recovery period, so we're not really where we truly were in the past. But I think that we're going to be better and are better, because I think we understand what our needs are. But certainly as far as recruiting is concerned, it shows that we have to really do more training, more mentoring, and in many cases look beyond, and also try to recruit maybe some of those older folks who might be looking for another avenue after their formal retirement. But I think it's been an eye-opener as far as I'm concerned in running my business and in finding talent.
Okay. I want to do a follow-up to, Lee and Gloria. So 2023 looks better, but as you heard earlier, the return of the transactional volume is not yet there. So are you advance hiring, or are you waiting for some of the travel to continue to pick up, right? So is that are you
My view on it is that, we're still hiring.
Okay.
And we're still planning some new initiatives, new services. So that's very important to just keep doing that no matter what. Okay, so nobody's going to put us down. That's the philosophy.
You're investing. You're investing.
Right, and we're constantly looking for talent, because really times are different. Technology is different. It's changing. And from the folks who were good at it back in 2018, 2019. So there's a big learning curve going forward. So we're hiring, we're looking for new talent all the time.
There you go.
To answer that.
Yes, we're I have two main companies. One's an operating company in Seattle that kind of really ebbs and flows with the day-to-day transactions of the big blue chips that are in Seattle. So what you read in the paper affects me transactionally day to day, but then our core product 360 is more of a global marketplace, and that just continues to grow and thrive as we've added people, not just in the United States, but we have offices in Singapore now, we have offices in the UK, so we can handle our European efforts. So there's a continuing growth both internationally and nationally. So we're just finished budgets for this year, and we see another step up in growth. So we're positive about it. This recession's I don't think it's going to be a long-lived recession. We're already feeling it release a little bit with the transactional stuff.
Second topic is about remote working, right? So it's a hot topic here. Microsoft released a new study where it found that 85% of leaders say that the shift to hybrid working has made it challenging to have confidence that employees are being productive. All right? More concretely, 49% of managers and hybrid workers struggle to trust that their employees are doing their best work. All right? So this is a hot topic. I think it's one that's very interesting. Our keynote talked this morning about people wanting to work from home. So the question I pose to you guys, it's two here. Did you move to remote working? And did it impact your productivity? And then the follow-up to that is, how has it in fact impacted your company culturally?
Not all work is the best done at home or completely at home. And also, I talk to a lot of CEOs who are really struggling with this. They're down to the idea, well, should we have people come in 2 days a week, 3 days a week? But then what do they really have in terms of that collaboration, which if you're a growing company, you're always looking for collaboration. You're looking for people to work together. So I wonder how much the worker from home is really going to move forward in companies and in their jobs. It's a concern that I have. And I don't want to lose good people either, because they're either bored or their jobs haven't changed enough. Because every job really does need to progress, and we want to see people move up, so-called that ladder.
Ashley, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think at Uber, we have 2 days, anchor days, but we're seeing that actually happen more. Our staff really wants to be in the office. They are thriving with one another. A lot of what was already said here is very true for us. We are a technology company. We have engineers who want to get in a room, whiteboard, build the best product to come to the app that we all know and love.
Here's what I heard, and I think this is absolutely the case, right? You're missing the collaboration when you're not in the office. You're missing the spontaneity. You're missing the ideation, the creativity, right? And I think depending upon the company, that's going to be even more important, right? I work for a tech company. We built collaboration rooms specifically, and then people said, no, we're just as productive from home. And I'm like, whoa, time out. We spent a lot of money in these collaboration rooms. How are you collaborating if nobody's in the room? And so we struggle with it a little bit, but I think we're going to find this hybrid environment. So I think that's pretty much what you guys were saying. Let's move on to our next topics. If we can key it up, topic number 3 is one that's interesting. Sustainability. We hear about it all the time. Sustainability in business travel is playing an increasing role in how companies think about social responsibility and how they handle day-to-day operations. This is not a new topic. It's been around for years. My question to the team here, to the panel, with everything else going on, returning to work, getting used to remote working, a challenge with servicing people, will sustainability be a front or back burner consideration this year?
See it as a positive force. It's a good thing. We've seen our partners, the airlines particularly, making great steps forward. I heard that you only had your room changed, every third day? There must have been a reason for that too. But I think that it's a good thing for the environment and for our lives to be thinking about those things. And it creates responsibility. And, I think that there's nothing negative about it, really, unless it's something happens and it completely impacts our lives, whether it's dealing with fuel or something else. So, everything in moderation perhaps will have to be a rule if we're talking about fuel, for example, or other problems that can happen in the world. But we have to use our common sense always.
I have a buddy who's big into it, biodegradable. He has a car, an old Mercedes diesel that he converted. When he picks me up now, I either smell like French fries or Chinese food when I get out of the car. So he's taking it to an extreme. All right, let's do some true or false. If you guys can kick up the slides here. I got 3 true or false here. So this session, what I'm going to do is just put a statement up. I'm going to ask my panel true or false. And then we'll see if we get some disagreement and some conversation. So the first one is the instances of open booking. Now, open booking is defined as the practice of allowing employees to book business trips outside of the officially approved channel. I'm sure that doesn't happen in the government, but it does happen. Oh yeah, maybe it does happen in the government. I'm sure it doesn't happen here, but it does absolutely happen in business travel, and it's kind of on the rise. People talk about it all the time, whether it's omni-channel. The airlines are marketing directly. They have been for years. So are the hoteliers. If you look at what American Airlines is doing, effective the 1st of April, they're pulling some of their content out of the traditional GDS environment. The only place you will get it is in the alternate environment, what they're calling the new distribution capability. So I'm curious, true or false to my panelists here, is this going to be more prevalent? Is it going to continue to grow? Or are we going to see less growth? Gloria?
Oh, sorry. I thought I needed. No, I got to say I have to differ here somewhat. I think that what I've seen is some companies have already unleashed a lot of their people to make choices, but obviously they're smart enough to know that they have to set rules. Now, we don't know exactly how prevalent and how fast all this direct booking is going to take place. We've heard stories about NDC and so forth. But I think that particularly with the new mindset that the worker has, the staffer has with working from home and wanting more freedom or a chance to be like a nomad worker where they can have a bleisure option where they can mix the business with taking a leisure trip. I think that there's got to be a little bit more give on this. So I'm not really in the real hard false category.
I actually agree with you, Gloria, on that one. I think there's a demographic that clearly thinks they can do travel better than we all can. Subscription-based pricing will become an option in business travel. So, how many of you have a Netflix subscription? How many of you steal somebody else's? All right, so all the hands went down, right? How many of you Amazon Prime members? Walmart Plus? How many of you go to Costco, pay every year to walk through Costco's door? Okay, in travel, we haven't done this. And what I think, the reason why I put it up there was when we hit the pandemic, the transactions went to near zero. And all of our businesses were affected. I know our business was significantly affected. Literally, we went to zero transactions overnight, and we're a transaction-based business. If someone doesn't book a transaction, we do not get paid. So I asked the question, it's a hard model shift, but true or false? You think this is going to show up anytime soon? Gloria, let's start with you.
Yes, I do. I think that it's not really management fees and all of that are kind of like that, but not really. I think that the idea is that, in particular in the corporate world, we start with a customer. They anticipate they're going to have a certain volume. Very often they don't. It's more on that order. Yep. So you set your fee if you're the agent for that particular kind of volume, and then it doesn't come, so you're kind of losing money. But the main thing is that we always approach every customer with, we want to help you no matter what. And so I think that with that in mind, I think that we need to have good partnerships with companies. It needs to be a win-win situation. I think that the idea is pretty cool.
All right, so kick it up. We got one more. This is a softball. In-person meetings will make a complete comeback in 2023. If anybody says false to this, I'm going to kick them out of here. Everybody, show of hands. Yeah, this was a softball. Everybody happy to be back in person? Yeah, all right, let's do it. All right, let's go to the next. Let's go to our next hot topic, the economy. We talked a little bit about it. We heard a little bit this morning about the recession, the impact of the recession. Usually recessions sneak up on us. CEOs never talk about recessions, said economist Mark Zandi of Moody Analytics. Now it seems CEOs are falling over themselves to say we're falling in a recession. Every person on TV says recession. Every economist says recession. I've never seen anything like it. You've actually seen big tech companies who were hiring throughout the pandemic actually start to pull back, lay people off. So my question for the audience is two questions here to my panel. What do you think the economic impact will be on business travel? And then will 2023 be a buyer or supplier market? What I mean by that is there going to be pricing power on the supplier side? Hotel rates are going up because the demand is softening, or hotel rates are going down because the demand is weak?
I think that just the recession will slow some of the leisure travelers, particularly because of the cost of living and food and so forth. But I do think, though, that this whole idea of combining the leisure with the official, if you want to call it that way, is definitely a plus. I think that people today, just generally speaking, are looking for more customization when they travel. They don't just want to maybe see things, they want to do things, they want to meet people, they want to, this old word we've been using for quite a while is immersion. We want to get involved. We want to know people. We want to go on expeditions. We want to do things that are going to get us out and get us involved, learn. And so it's not just walking through museums anymore. It's kind of like really understanding culture and talking to people to get the true idea of what's going on. So there's the traveler to me is looking for wellness in some cases. They're looking for an adventure. That's all good things. So I feel really good about what the travel industry is doing in hospitality and what we've done there, because there's such an interdependence that we have on each other, that we're a very strong force. Now, as far as the business minded, the corporations slowing down because of a recession, a lot depends upon what their industry is, and how important travel is to their industry. Because if it means go forward and satisfy your investors or whatever it might be, you're going to go forward. I mean, you're going to take some priorities, and that's why maybe allowing people to do more flexible buying might be, a sensible thing. So again, I use the old words, common sense, and figuring out what's best for you if you're running a company or whoever you are. But I think we're all cost conscious, and we just don't want to get into a terrible slump, and that would be awful. But I think that if our industry is, to me, a very willing industry to make sacrifices and to make things happen for the good and to try to keep their prices down.
All right, speaking of which, I'm going to do a little Price is Right Bob Barker here. Higher or lower? Will prices be higher or lower? Ashley, higher or lower this year?
Higher.
Matt, higher, higher,
Yes.
higher. All right, get ready to pay more, except for the government, because your contracts are locked in. All right. Let's move on. Topic number 5, our last hot topic of the day. It's tech time. Which technology will have the biggest impact on travel in 2023? I give a couple up here. Artificial intelligence, Chat GPT. We've had a lot of conversation about this. Facial recognition or something else. Who wants to go first? I love where you're going. Gloria, how about you? Which tech talk is what are you seeing? What's 2023 going to bring us?
Well, I do agree with the facial recognition, but I also have to say, we mentioned artificial intelligence. Was that your first one? I'm sort of forgotten by this.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so it kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? The Chat GPT is just so interesting to me. I keep reading about it because it's happening right now. It's like the sands are shifting while we watch. So I'm very interested in that, and I really think we're talking about things speeding up for the traveler, right? So that's fantastic. And not having to pull out too many pieces of paper or passports, whatever. But when it comes to this Chat GPT, I think that we all need to find out about it so we don't feel we're getting swallowed up in something we don't understand. I think that it's a great way for us to do things faster, also get ourselves a little bit more immersed into this internet and figure out really what kind of what kind of recommendations is it giving us, fine-tune our searches, and who knows? I mean, it can do so many things, or potentially could, but it's in its early stages, as we can tell by all of the articles being written. I think the Wall Street Journal had 3 articles yesterday on it. Yeah. But anything that could speed up communications for me with my customers and CRM and sort of personalized, customized information. I'm just interested in it, and I think it's going to be fun.
Good, fun. I think we got some questions from the audience. I'm going to come back on stage.
So we're fielding a couple questions that came in, and the first one was on diversity and what your individual companies or organizations are doing to promote diversity and encourage diversity, especially at the leadership level.
Leadership diversity. Who wants to start? Gloria has been a proponent of this for a very long time. She's done a ton of work for women in travel. So Gloria, just share with the audience some of the stuff you've...
Back in 1998, a group got together, a women's president's organization, and we actually studied and did put together a group called the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, which is dedicated to seeing that corporations, and many of them are the top 100, 1,000 Fortune Forbes corporations, but we are devoted to, and we have had a tremendous impact on diversity. And businesses can get certifications by WeBank, we call it, to prove that they are definitely doing what they say they're going to do. But I just want to say that diversity is very important in the travel industry. Mm-hmm. We are multifaceted, but also I think that from my standpoint, one of the reasons it makes life worth living, because it's very interesting to put diverse groups together. It's kind of like a real challenge, and it's a wonderful challenge. And it's great to see how people can just rise up and do things they've never done before. So we think that, I think that it was a great move on our part from a corporate decision that we made early. So I recommend that we have a diversity program.
Yes. Ash, another question.
All right. Next one is going back to sustainability. And the question is about what concerns does industry have about government mandates for sustainability? And I guess it could be asked another way too, in a positive. Where do you see that being a good thing?
Gloria?
Well, we, as a travel company, we don't run the airplanes, we don't own them, we own the hotels and so forth, the cars, but we can certainly select who we deal with as a preferred supplier and expect what kind of quality control we want to hear, or sustainability programs that they have. But everyone can do a small piece in making your staff aware of what you should do, and there are programs that can be followed. But I think that we're all of the same mindset to make sure that we have a program, and that we are, particularly if the government's going to mandate, we better know what the program is. So, but it's not only for that, but I think that we understand the goodness out of it.
Yeah. I gave my panelists some homework. I don't know if you all remember. My homework was that I wanted them to come up with a prediction, something they think is going to happen in our industry in the next 12 to 18 months. Gloria, I'm going to start with you. Prediction.
I think that the artificial intelligence is going to get better, and that we will maybe be able to do better in terms of any kind of criminal activity that can befall us, since one of the worst things we're all afraid of, and using our mobile phones more, is
fraud prevention.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, that. All right, listen, let's give these guys a round of applause here. They did a phenomenal job. I want to thank you all for hanging in. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Andy, back to you.